Shout out to andibanane Beats. Shalom Mashbaka, it's Ya'akwaba. Like, share, and subscribe. Listen to the word of Ya'akwaba. Listen to the live. All right, Mashbaka. This ain't gonna be long or hard. And if it's a long message, then it's supposed to be. The message today is all for one, or one for all. Alright, all for one, or one for all. Now, Pastor Kelly did a message about this right here. And I'm saying that so that y'all can, after I'm done with this, y'all could go back and check that out. All right. And thank you for the like. And the message that he did is called Words of Confusion. Today we're going to be looking at the name Jewish. Now, when you look at how history has happened, I was listening to a sister and I was inspired to go into deeper detail. Sister Shower Tower, and she was talking about the Luo people, the Luo tribe. So she said, look them up and see if they look like Obama. So I looked them up. Now, I looked up the Luo tribe and I said, okay, any historians that spoke about the Luo tribe, this is what I wrote down to figure it out. I wrote it. Any historians that spoke about the Luo tribe BC, before Messiah. And nothing popped up. Nothing popped up. Okay, so I wrote down who first called the Luo tribe Luo in Europe, because when you say African, they always go back to folk tales and mythical beliefs, like Cinderella story and stuff like that. So I looked it up a different kind of way, because when you look it up with the European way, then they try to give you historical documented records. Not saying that some of the stuff that the Africans wrote down that the man did this great miraculous thing never happened. But when you're looking for something like what the Greeks is doing, then you got to look at it a certain type of way. So I looked it up, European historians. It says the first European reference to the Luo people came from the British colonizers. Okay, so I said, okay, so the first one that Europeans say colonizers, and then when you looked up what happened BC, I said, okay. So I say, what name did the black Israelites call the nations BC? Because when you're looking for the Luo, you know, they say there's nothing BC. So I say, what names did the black Israelites call the nations BC? And, you know, it look on Google, it'll tell you itself. It say the black Hebrew Israelites, also known as black Israelites, have a rich history and tradition. And now you can't just put Israelites, because if you just put Israelites, then they're going to post up the colors of the rainbow, or they just going to post up one person that say they, and they ain't going to provide no, you know, historical documentation. And then they just going to tell you what people said and this and then the other, or what the America set it up in 40 something. So you're going to have issues. So I tried to narrow it down, not saying that the Israelites need to be called Black Hebrew Israelites, but I looked it up that way to get specific answers. Have a rich history and tradition. However, there are no specific historic records from BC area that detail the names they use for various nations. Okay, so that's what they said. And then I wrote in there again. I'm showing y'all the words of confusion. Then I wrote in there again because I already done thought about this stuff, and a lot of our brothers and sisters have been studying it like I have been studying. So I wrote down any writings of Israelites before the Khazars colonized them. This is what it say. There are several ancient writings from the Israelites that predate the Khazar colonization. These include. So I say, okay, so if that be the case, this is what I'm thinking in my mind. If that be the case, then, so why couldn't Google, why couldn't you just have it documented down that the Israelites before the Khazarian rule, they say, well, they have a problem with that because there's no information to substantiate it. You know, whatever you say is shut down. Even historical records like The Light and Truth and many other books from Babylon and Timbuktu. But those are recent, I mean, most recent writings, but I say anything ancient, you know. Then it say the Hebrew Bible, Tanakh. That's not how the Hebrews called it, but let's roll with that. Because if you're looking for the oldest records, they're not going to be calling it Tanakh. If you're looking for the oldest record and you're looking for it through modern terms and all that right there, you're not going to find it if you look at through a search engine that goes by certain ways. Just like when you're looking up Old English, you have to use a P instead of using the S. You know what I mean? So you got to look it up a certain kind of way because certain things can be hidden if you're not looking it up the certain kind of way. So if you're looking up Jew, you're going to find a lot of stuff about Jew. But if you look up Yahweh, where's you find it? Where's the information? The Hebrew Bible, Tanakh. So it show you who is writing this stuff down, who's documenting this stuff, right? And the people that's documenting it, what kind of mindset do they have? Do they have a martyr mindset? Is it the people that's documenting it down that want you, that think the certain way they think? So you have to do your own study and research. The Hebrew Bible Tanakh, the most significant and extensive body of literature written in biblical Hebrew, and the word biblical means book. But the Hebrews called it Salpar, which means scrolls. Salparyam, scrolls. It includes texts such as Thara, which means letters, writings. Thara. Nabayathwa, which means prophets. They say Navayim. So you're seeing what angle they're coming from. They're coming from this angle, right? From Nabayim. They're not coming from the indigenous source. Because when you look up, how many people get angry when they say, don't call me, I'm not this, I'm black. Black power, what they say. I'm not this, I'm a Negro. I'm not this, I'm that. I am not this, I am Nigerian. I am not this, I am this one, I am that one. So everybody has a specific way that they're trying to preserve. But when it comes down to the Abar Lashan, we're not trying to preserve that. We're trying to erase that with modern terms. And when we try to erase it with modern terms, we're furthering the erasure of the indigenous, right? The original. And when I mean indigenous, I mean the people who are indigenous to the lands of where they're supposed to be the rightful inheritors. So they say Nivim and writings Katuvim, right? So if you have a wife, and I said this before, if you have a wife or you have a husband, and you say to your wife or your husband, hey wife or hey husband, they say when y'all on a date, if your husband keep calling you, if your name is Samantha and your husband keep calling your name Sabrina, and he say, I reject the other name Sabrina. I say it by heart. I say it with my chest to the guts, from my guts all the way down from my heart. I'm not going to call you Samantha. I'm going to call you Sabrina, and this is your name. I love you. It doesn't matter what your name is, Sabrina. And she looking at you like, why you keep calling me Sabrina? Anytime when y'all die and about to make a baby, he calling you, see, this is why I believe a lot of sisters understand this, and some of our people that's Hellenized don't understand this. So if a sister say to her husband, what name did you call me? I know you ain't called me no Sabrina. My name's Samantha. Why don't you go over there where Sabrina them house at? And then you go over there to Sabrina. Sabrina don't want you. Sabrina husband got a husband. She married. You breaking the covenant. You going over there to be with Sabrina because you just refuse to let go of Sabrina name. But that's that other man wife, you know. So the other man looking at you like, why you keep calling your wife Sabrina? Your wife name is Samantha. And Sabrina looking at him like, oh, he like me. Lust may be filling up inside her heart. And she say, well, let me go ahead and my husband mad at me because I'm enjoying this man calling my name every time he talk to his old lady. So the female, she want to go over there to, let's say that the husband that's keep calling his wife Sabrina, name is George, right? She want to go over there and holler at George, and George say, I don't want to be with you. I love my wife Sabrina. And Sabrina looking at him like, but my name's Sabrina. So now they have a discrepancy. Sabrina's husband, let's give him a name, Samson. He mad at her. Why is you keep calling? And so now you got a big old ball of confusion. Then you got different doctrines in order to make it more easier and palatable. They say, well, my grandfather, my grandmother said, it don't matter what the name is. Long as I call on that name, Sabrina, I'm going to be able to get a kiss. Long as I call on that name, Sabrina, I'm going to be able to have many babies. I'm going to prosper with this woman that I'm renaming Sabrina because somebody else told me her name is Sabrina, even though her name is Samantha. And I'm just going to continue to call and rag on her and wear down everybody in her family, everybody in her bloodline that refuse to accept me calling her Sabrina. She said that's disrespectful. I said it's not disrespectful. Sabrina is an English translation of Samantha. You're going to accept this name, Sabrina. So Samantha say, should I leave this man and go and be with a man that will not call me another female name? So Messiah said he don't want Israel, who he married to be calling on other names. But Israel heard throughout centuries, 500 years and maybe more, of people forcing them to say all these other names. So now they just keep calling him like the man that was calling his wife Sabrina. So when you look at your name, they want you to be assimilated and call yourself Sabrina. Not saying there's nothing wrong with the name Sabrina. I'm just using this as an illustration to explain something. The Hebrew Bible, Sabrina is a pretty name, by the way. The Hebrew Bible, Tanakh, the most significant and extensive body of literature written in biblical Hebrew. It includes texts such as the Torah. They say Torah. Now, if you're trying to get back to your Aboriginal status, if you're trying to get back to talking like your grandfather and them talk, why would like when I was in school, right? And I talked in my what they call broken English, right? And inside of school, they made sure to put me in inside a special class for English because I didn't code switch. I taught what they call hood. I taught what they call down south. I talk like I talk, and I don't care, like, right? So they put me in there, and I remember the teacher his name was Mr. Doty, and he was from the military. He got injured in the military. He used to whisper when he talked. Very kind man, you know, how he talked to us, you know. And after Mr. Doty, it was Mr. After Mr. Doty, it was Mr. Bond, and this was in Bethune Academy Elementary, right? So Mr. Doty, going back to Mr. Doty, he is very a good example for this, right? Mr. Doty got injured in the military, and Mr. Doty couldn't speak like me and you. He had to whisper when he speak. So Mr. Doty lost his voice in the military. So when he spoke, we asked him what's his name. A lot of the children, we thought he was playing. You know, we thought that he was playing with us, playing a little game of whisper. So when we go in his class, we got used to Mr. Doty always whispering when he speak, right? Because something happened to his vocal box in the military. And when Mr. Doty spoke, he said, "Hi, my name is Mr. Doty." And all of the students said, "Hi." And I said, "Hi, my name is Calvin." My homeboy, Chris Brown, say, it's another Chris Brown. Not everybody in the world is not just one Chris Brown. My homeboy, Chris Brown from Polk County, Florida, say, "Hi, my name is Chris Brown." And so on and so on. You know, Ruben Abreu, the Nellios, you know, the people that had accents like Ruben Abreu, you know, that filled out their paperwork and all that right there and whatever. You know, you got Trellis Erkins, you know, come from a hood. So he talked what they call broken English. We had our sister Oriel, who is now a cousin to us now because she's married to because one of our family members married to their family. What is so on? So we had people in there that spoke Gullah. We had people in there that spoke what they call broken English. We had people in there. There was a European boy in there that couldn't say R correctly. So you see this problem, family? This is what I want to cover with y'all today. This is what I want to cover with y'all today, and I'll be back with you a little bit later. But I'm going to get off of here, and I will furthermore talk about this situation. I want you to like and subscribe to the channel. Shalom. I got to go, family.